Hey friends. I Something happened the other night and I've kind of been just reflecting on it a little bit. Um and I think I'm still at the beginning of this one in terms of formulating an insight. But basically, if you've been following this post, I did a post a few weeks ago, a couple weeks ago, where I identified and named a pattern basically amounting to I'm a disappointment. And it's something that I go there occasionally, and or at least I have in the past. I feel like it may be letting go, as I will explain. But it's a pattern that I know, and I think I mentioned on the previous post. You can always tell when it's a deep pattern because the the psychological thing you're wrestling with appears to define all of life. It's not it doesn't feel like a passing feeling. It doesn't feel like something that comes and goes, even though it does obviously come and go. When it comes, it feels like this is the real truth about you. And all the other times, you're just ignoring this real truth about you. It has that dire, terminal vibe to it. And that's how we know we should go, oh, whenever that happens, we should go, oh, this is a pattern. I call bullshit right off the bat. Ideally, we're meditating enough and we're connecting with the dimension of ourselves that's so infinite and vast and full of energy and intelligence that we don't take it too seriously. But, people, we fall off the horse. We don't always, if our practice slips or whatever, we can lose that connection, and the patterns can come back and be like, yes, you've been meditating for 20 years, but you're still just defined by this psychological, emotional feeling. Haven't I been around as long as you can remember? That's right. That's because I'm the real thing. That's the dialogue. That's the vibe. So anyway, I had that. I talked about it on my last post. Recapping here. And then I had it. So then I'm up here in Santa Fe, as I mentioned yesterday, in my mom's beautiful office, and I was having dinner with my folks the other night, and my mom, having seen my post, turned to me and said, Robin, I know that the post was about a kind of something that was going on in your mind, but I just want to say out loud that you could never be a disappointment. Which was a beautiful thing to hear. And I then a number of things happened kind of quickly, which is what I'm still unpacking. The first one was I think I only partially received that because it puts me in a vulnerable place to be open and receive that. And so I think I because I quickly kind of I went back to talking about, oh yeah, it's just a pattern, it's just a thing that my mind does. I kind of went out of the moment of vulnerability, and and dipped into the mind's analysis of the issue. On another level, it's like, I have wonderful parents. I know that they don't think I'm a disappointment. I feel like we have this amazing relationship where so much of that, so much of the tension that often can characterize those relationships we've done a fair amount of work to resolve it, and it just feels like a very loving, open, kind of flowing relationship. So on some level, it was affirming. On some level, my mind also said, well, this isn't new information. You already know that your mom doesn't think you're a disappointment. But then later, in reflecting on this, I realized, first of all, that it makes a difference to receive that. It made a difference to me. It felt, there was a lightening when my mother said that. So that was something to kind of acknowledge. And then I also started to think, wait a minute, because and I've talked about this in the past too. At some point in our psychological development, we're like pretty much a baked cake, right? Our mind is structured the way it's structured, and our patterns are what they are. We can change it, but we're kind of the only ones who can change it. We can change it through connecting with the dimension that is beyond the mind and energizing the mind and choosing to dissolve patterns and to program new ones. But it's work. It's not just, that doesn't just happen. And furthermore, even if a pattern like, I'm a disappointment, I don't want to be a disappointment, came from my parents, at some point they lose the power to reprogram me, because I'm programmed. I'm a baked cake, right? I'm an adult human being. So I have to. So the really the only power to change that kind of complex, that kind of pattern, it rests with us. We have to do it ourselves. We can only do it for ourselves. And loving and wonderful, beautiful parents who support that are a blessing, but they can't do the work for us. Even if that pattern had come from my parents. But the next thought that hit me was, what if it didn't? What if that feeling, this I'm a disappointment thing, actually, I could come from somewhere else. There could be other people out there that, I don't know, important influences. I suppose I could reflect on that some. But what hit me, and what sort of arose as a possibility that I almost hadn't considered, is, what if those expectations are coming from within me? What if they are actually my own expectations of myself, and not, because my mom said it so freely. She just so effortlessly and clearly, sort of lucidly knew I could never be a disappointment. And I was almost like, wait, you sure? because wait, so you're saying you don't think so? So why? What is this? And it was like, maybe I've done this to myself. And that recognition, the recognition that pattern again, I'm not discounting the idea that there may have been other influences that kind of helped create that for me. But what showed up and what I wanted to take really seriously as I stepped in, as I kind of came through this experience, was, what if this is my thing? Like, what if somehow my own view of the world, my own mind, my own internally motivated expectations of myself are really where this pattern came from? You know, what if it's something even deeper than parental programming? And that was really exciting because it's the ultimate empowerment, and it's also kind of like the ultimate freedom to choose what I do now. You know, there's a kind of sense of, oh, well, then I can decide what to expect. I can decide what a disappointment means. I can decide if I want to, if there are some standards I want to set for myself, I can set them. I can choose to meet them. I can choose to set standards that I fall short of. I can choose to set standards that are the right ones for me. I can choose not to set any standards. I'm not saying that's a great idea, but but I have the choice, and I have all the power. And it was just really empowering to realize maybe this is, you know, maybe something about these expectations that have felt in some ways oppressive, but also in some ways guiding, as though they gave me an orientation. What if they're coming from me? And wouldn't that be exciting to own and really really empowering to then work forward from? So yeah, and I feel like I'm like I said, at the beginning of this, because I feel like I can deepen my own sense of where these things came from, where this pattern and others have come from. It was just kind of like a paradigm shift to go, wait, what if they didn't come from where I've been assuming they came from all this time? Thanks for watching, folks. Much love. Have a wonderful day. I appreciate you. I'll see you soon.